Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Continuing a series that I started recently, I will put in the playlist that I'm going to call Temper Your Emotions with Your Filipina. This is the fourth part today. Now, considering you may have a big age gap, cultural differences, you're from so far apart from each other, and maybe don't even know each other much as a married couple normally would, there are a lot of opportunities for conflict and anger in this type of relationship. I hope you appreciate this series as something we should talk about, and that you would subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea. I have a website called lvbts.com, designed by Mr. E, and I do podcasts on casting beyond the sea. Here are 5 causes of anger and what to do about it from one of the links at the near the top of the description box. Number 1 here, this will be the shortest of the series, so hope you'll hang on here. 1, saying hurtful things. Saying hurtful things. You're angry and you want to inflict damage. You know where the weak spots are. Your good conscience is telling you not to say it because it's fighting dirty and you don't really mean it, but you say it anyway. Huge mistake. Now, if anyone has not experienced this, then you are free to leave this video. What was once just an argument would blow over, but has now become something deeper that will stay with her possibly forever. Listen to your conscience. Think about what you say. Now, my thought on that is it takes a real strong man to be angry and not say hurtful things. And I hope one day I can be really good at doing that. That requires an immense amount of self-control. I don't mean the person who avoids conflict, but the man who can fully understand his emotions in the heat of the moment, can set his ego aside, cannot insist on being right, and can honestly look for solutions. No one wants to hear hurtful words, but I think it is especially bad if you say hurtful things to someone who has gone many thousands of miles from home to be your wife. Now, that segues into the next common mistake husbands make in the heat of the moment, according to one of these websites, and that is emphasis on winning. Would you agree? Emphasis on winning. We are competitive. This is from the article. We like to win even when it's not to our benefit to do so. Getting our way at all costs should never be the primary goal. The goal is what is best for your family and a good marriage. Swallowing pride is not an easy thing, but pride goes before the fall, and placing an emphasis on winning rather than the relationship will bring a fall every time. My thoughts, yes, pride does go before destruction. I once heard a man explain his key to being married for 63 years. It was, I've learned I would rather be happy than right. I would think that it took most of his 63 years of marriage to learn that lesson. Now and then I think to myself that as I get older, I should be able to better prioritize things and not get so worked up. I tell myself that marriage isn't a competition. It is more like a cooperation. We are partners, my wife and I, companions. If at the end of the day I win, then we lose, which means I lost too. Number 3, being too sensitive. From the article, they say, I'm a sensitive guy. Wish I wasn't, but I surely am. My feelings can get hurt and I'll make dumb decisions because of it. Develop ways to cope with bruised or hurt feelings in a healthy and productive way. Take a time out, assume best intentions, and try to see things objectively rather than personally. Sometimes it's as simple as going out to the garage and pounding it on a project or two, and you will feel better. My thoughts. I've actually had to work off some anger by going to the gym, where I can almost try to, at one time try to lift so much weight, I'm just going to wear myself out, and that does relieve a lot of tension. That is for sure, because you don't have to concentrate. You just try to get all that anger, but that's not always possible or always, advisable. My thoughts here would be, I can relate to being sensitive to any unhappiness from my wife. If there's anyone I want to please and think that I'm doing a good job, it's her. I've learned in our 5 years and 9 months of marriage that I take our squabbles way more seriously than my wife does. She sometimes laughs when I am starting to go ballistic. Neither of us wants to go to bed angry or even wake up that way. Fourth point here, choosing what feels good over what's right. They say in the article, you've promised her you will take care of a list of projects on Saturday morning. On Friday, your buddies have a last-minute opening as a fourth to play golf at the same time. What does a husband do here? You love golf. You don't love cleaning out nasty gutters. Easy choice, right? Wrong. Family first, wife first. Promises are to be kept. Besides, if your buddies really wanted you to begin with, it would already be on your schedule. Never sell out your wife. My thoughts, I love it. Not mincing his words, and really nothing that I want to add to that. The fifth point here they mention is giving into temptation. They say each day temptations are going to present themselves. Those glancing looks, special smiles, private messages. Danger, danger, danger. Train yourself to always see the big picture when dealing with seemingly small temptations. Those small things often lead to large disasters. When your mind and heart begin to, in their words, want or lack, cut it off early. The big picture is your family and life you're building. And I think this is me now here. I don't want to add to the quote there. I think for most men, and they're talking about sexual temptation here, for most of us, the sexual temptation needs to be taken very, very seriously. I know I do. I love my wife like you can't imagine. She is very precious to me and the apple of my eye. I certainly am not expecting any kind of temptation, and I don't intend to look for it. But I know with certainty that if I'm not careful, anything could happen. Most of us are weak in this area. To us, a breakdown could be brushed off as merely entertainment. I just couldn't help myself. It meant nothing. But it is just all too easy to give in to sexual sin. And then you can ruin your life that way. The Bible says, let every man that thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. So at that point where you feel like you're not vulnerable to sexual temptation, maybe you've had a fight, you're feeling real frisky that day, and it just takes less than you think to really ruin your life. And so I think that's a good point that they mentioned here. If anger has occurred due to a problem you and your Filipina wife are dealing with, that makes you more susceptible to screwing up. It can happen before you know it hits you if you aren't careful. Having said that, marital discord is never a reason for cheating in any way with your wife. Closing thoughts here to this video and the series. Try to see things from the other person's perspective and be able to recite it to them in your own words. Think about what to say beforehand. Don't blame her, even if she is at fault. You'll need to find a good way to express yourself. Perhaps, honey, when you do this, it makes me feel that. Don't get personal. Try not to bring past battles into a current one. That will derail your progress. Realize while marriage is such a wonderful institution, it is guaranteed there will be some conflict, but how we go about dealing with it will determine if this conflict brings us closer together or if it tears us apart. As the years go by, I want to temper my anger in order to grow closer to my love beyond the sea.